Good morning, everyone. This episode, I'm going to guide you how to go through database connectivity using PHP. I know I never introduced to PHP, but in actual fact, you are supposed to be the one who's doing research and doing everything yourself. But I will just give you a guidance on how to go through the questions, because you have to submit this lab test on Monday. So the first thing that you need to do, you need to create a database. There are three most important steps that you need to do. The first one, you need to have your server running. Secondly, you must have your PHP file, which helps you to connect to the database. Thirdly, you must have maybe your HTML file, which will help you to take the details in which you want to submit to the database. Simple means you can have a button. When you click that button, it should send all the information to your database. Those are the most important things that you need to know. So I will just make an example so that you can at least have an idea on how you will go through it. Then from there, it's up to you. Over now, it's an assignment and do other things. So I'm not going to do everything for you. So I will just give you the ones which I may say they are important, and they are important steps. Got it? Yeah. So the first thing that you need to do, can go to Google and download the server by the name XAMPP. Can download XAMPP. Can just come here and download XAMPP. So you can see here we have different versions: 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 8.0. So you can just maybe take the latest one. It can be 8.0, any of this servers which are available. Then after downloading, you install the server. So installing the server, you just run. Then when you complete the process, you can see maybe it will create a shortcut on your desktop, or if you don't see it, you can just type XAMPP here. So when you type XAMPP, you will see XAMPP. Then you click, then you come here, it will be running here. Open. So what you will see, you will realize that we have, let me stop this server. When you open this, you'll find that your Apache is not running, your MySQL is not running. Those are the most important servers that you have to make sure that they are running. One, you have to start your Apache. Then you start your MySQL and make sure both are running. So to access your MySQL admin, you can just come here, admin here, click here. So this will take you to this platform, whereby you will be able to create your database. Simple. So what you do here, you can create your databases here, but for now let's not create a database. Then we will come back and create a database. So now you are done with the installation of XAMPP. Then what you can do, you can come to your C drive and check the installation. So for me, during the installation process, I just put it here. So you can see some will install it in the program files. So it depends where you have which directory did you decide to use. So for now I have used this directory. So when you open this file, you will see some files inside this. There is a folder called htdocs. You open this folder. Then when you open this folder, you'll see some files inside here. So you can create maybe your own file here. Let's say it's tutorial. It's tutorial. Then inside this tutorial, this is whereby you're going to put all the contents of your website and access them from this folder. So let me take my files from here. Let's say it's my index. Let me take in this one. Let me just take these two files, or this one. Yeah, let me copy them. Every file that you create should be in this folder. So this is it. Now I have my index here. This is the normal HTML file that you know. Let me show you that file. This is yes, I have my index, that is HTML body h1, so it gives the message, it works. Okay, I also have my other file which I have named it ABC. Let's open and see what is inside ABC. This is my HTML file. I have created a form which takes the input, which is the registration number, the name of a student, and the age of a student. And then I have created a button here, which is a submit button. So these are the most important part in HTML when you are creating forms. So I have also created form. You know, when you are creating a form, you open forms text, then you close them. So this is opening and then closing. You already know all these things. So I have this, that is the form method dot get action is equals to. So when you come to action, you need to learn what is the difference between get and post method. But for now, because you're going to send data and retrieve data to our databases, so we decided to use the get method. So here, that's action is equals to, that is my SQLite, that is my PHP file, which will help me to connect to the database and retrieve the information or the records from the database. So I will show you this file, which is mysqli_1.php. This is the file I have just created. So when you look here, this is the file. What is happening here? The most important thing that you need to understand is that every time when you create your PHP file, so you go and learn about different tags used in PHP, but I will just introduce you to some of them, or the few of them, so that at least you can have an idea how you can tackle. So we have this file here, which is mysqli_1. That's just the name of your file. So it's a PHP file. If you look at that is .php. So this is whereby we have written our PHP code, which will help us to connect to the database. So we have this. The first thing that you do, we have our MySQLi function. This one will help us to be able to connect. We create an object that will help us to connect to our server. So we gave it a name con, that is new MySQLi, then con. Then our object con, we try to connect to the database now. So with the database, by default, when you install the XAMPP server, the username for a server is root, but you don't have the password unless if you decide to put the password. But for now, by default, the password is empty. So how do you do? You just give the connect function, then localhost root. So if you change the username, you write your username here. How about this? I will change it, but for now, because we haven't changed any username, that's why it's a root. That is by default. So even the password, if you have a password, so you can put the password. But now our password is empty. So what do we do now? We have con select DB, that is select the database that we are going to create inside our MySQL. Then query, insert into the new database. So what we have done, we have a database. We will create the database student. Then we are going to insert data into the table. You create the database. Then inside the database, you must have the tables. So within the tables, this is where we are going to store the records. So we have created a table which is called new student. Then we are going to insert these values inside that table. So all these other processes, you will see them when you create the database, when you create the table. You will see. I will show you all those steps. Then we insert the values inside that database. Then we create a query here. This is the query 1. This is the query 2. This is query 1. We insert data into the database, into the table. Then with this query 2, we select all from the table, meaning we get the data, all the information which are available inside that table. Then here, result is equals to con.query.query2. So we use this to store. This result is going to store all the information that we will be trying to retrieve from our table, and it will be stored result, our variable result. Then what we are going to do, we are going to use the fetch array to get all the contents. Our table. So what you are going to do, you are going to echo the name, the registration number. That is going to be the name and the registration number for that student. So remember, with since we are working with arrays, we need to fetch these records. Like here, we decided to fetch the records. Which position. So remember, with arrays, the position, it starts from 0. Well, then we are going to choose this one, 0. So it means that we're going to display the name of a person and the record that is available within our database, which is the first record in the database. Then we are going to display them. So this is how the PHP code works. So what we do now, we can go to our MySQL admin, and then we have to create our database. So now we already have this student database. Let's see if we can drop. student database. Yeah, I've decided to delete it so that we can start all over again. So let's create a new database. Give it a name, student. Oh, what is happening here now? Let me close this. Something is wrong here. Then student create. Yes, database student has been created. You will get this message. So now here, no tables found in the database. It means that we haven't created the tables within the database. So what you have to do now, we have to create the table within the database. So remember we said the table names for our database, that is new underscore student. So this is the name of our database. So you can give it any name, but for now we are going to use this name. This is the one, new student ID. So number of records, how many records are you willing to store kara database ya hao? So holatela this PHP file, so it means the records that you're going to store, because you can see this is the student registration number MCA 21 CETA 25. We have 3 records that we need to store in our database. So with the database, you have to give it those records, those attributes names. So they are going to be 3. And look at this. Then you can come here, going to be 3. Yes, you will get this field. But it will be 3. When I delete 2, let me go back and see. So this, okay, new student, the number of records 3. Yeah, then next. Yeah, so they were supposed to be 3. I think Neki 2. So the first one, that is the ID. Let's give it ID. So an ID, because sometimes guys ID maybe 90, 100, 39, 10. Someone can decide to say MCA what. So let's give it virtual. Then the second one is the name. Student, student. Okay, the length of value. So if 10, here we can give it 15. That is the name. Sometimes our material. So here it's age. It's age. So age is an integer. So can give it 2 numbers, because no matter after 100 and then you save. So if you look at this, this is the query that you get. Table student new. Inside this database we have this table, new stu has been created. Create table database, this new student ID UEFA ID not null. So there is a database immediately. So let's about now to not null. So you have all done these things. I know. Usually we can insert the records. Sometimes you can decide to insert the records manually. Can come here. Let's say you want to insert student ID, maybe 900 910, name Jacob, and the age of Jacob is 23, maybe. Then we go. So it means that inside our table, stu ID or new stu, we have this record, which is Jacob, 23, jalo. So this, you can just print this on the screen. So just the matter of, so you can see that we have Motena Kadila Matsekana idea Kiana. So now we have already created these files. This is my ABC file, and I can name it ABC. This is my HTML file, that is abc.html. Le form yaka eta benka registration number, enka student name, enka the age, maybe it'll be sent to the database. Then you can retrieve the information from that database. So for now, let's see over now it's all about. We have okay, we have this one, MySQL I_1 it will choose how to insert the values into the database and be able to retrieve those values database. So how are we going to do it? We have already created a database and we have already put one record into the database. So what do we have to do? We want to check our file, HTML file, our PHP file, are they communicating? Then we check if they are communicating, is there any connection to the server? So we can come to your browser. How this folder, your htdocs tutorial, how leka ho run this HTML file directly. Then you can see registration number, name, and age, and then you try to submit your records. So what is it that you see? You will see that what it displays, the source code, your PHP file, okay. So how you direct to create a folder, you will see this. So who avoid that is error that you get, you need to run a server. Remember, we have a server here, which is Apache. So what you do, you can come to your browser, can type localhost slash Hana folder it's a tutorial, right? Tutorial. And then which file do we want to run? That is abc.html. Localhost tutorial abc.html. Let's see. Good. So can you see that we are able to access that file through the use of the URL? So it's localhost tutorial abc. Let's come and see. Okay, inside our hot doc we have this folder tutorial. This is inside our localhost. You open that, we get our file here, which is abc.html. So now when you are here, we want to insert those records, maybe and so what is happening now? We have inserted those records to our database. Let's see if they have been inserted. Let's see. It's records to our database. So database gets student and our table again. Okay, I had insert, but what happened is that we have retrieved the records database. That's why when you execute this, you are able to access Jacob ID number thing. So when you go to the database, the only record that we have so I hope this is this is clear to you. So that is how you can be able to retrieve the records from the database. So I have already showed you how you can insert those records to your database through the use of PHP. So there are so many things that you can do. It depends how you want to retrieve your records, but there are a number of ways which you can use to retrieve the records, and number of functions which you can use to retrieve your records. So sometimes you may want to fetch the records maybe one by one. So you might want to fetch the records one by one. So it simply means that if you have all those records inside your database, you can use the fetch function, which is fetch row function. So it will be able to help you to get those records from your database and use the while loop. So there are so many ways that you can be able to go through this, but I just wanted to just give you an example how you can go through this. So it's up to you how you can decide to do it, but this is enough for you to get started. So the rest you have to learn them yourself. So people have been asking me, how do you do this? This is your test, so I don't have to help you to do your test. So you have to figure out how you can do it. But I just wanted to give you an idea how you can go through this. Thank you very much. So try to do it, and on Monday I'm expecting my assignment. I don't want any excuse, regardless of the situation. I don't want any excuse. So that is it. So thank you.